Welcome to my channel. This is Tarot and Ink and I am Kaz. This is your weekly reading for the week coming up, which the dates of that I've forgotten, but it's for the one coming up. So it's also a timeless reading, so obviously take what resonates, leave what doesn't, for entertainment purposes only. Saying that, I hope you get something valuable out of this. You can see all of my kind of weekly readings, my love readings. I do daily card pulls as well. Go check out my channel and the playlist and everything else. But aside from that, we are going to get cracking. So pile one, you've got this cute little dinosaur. I'm a big fan of the dinosaurs. This cute little kind of animation, kind of playful, like charming. There's an innocence here that I really like. And for some of you, your parents, because I can sort of hear Peppa Pig and then people laughing as well. So yeah, there's a playfulness, there's a joy. And then pile two, I wouldn't be surprised if you're like a cosplayer or like really into anime or, you know, things like that. I mean, like Sailor Moon kind of vibes. There's a real kind of cuteness to this, and I want to say you're injecting your life with a bit of love and whimsy as well. And there's like real pastel colors, very cute. So that's pile two. And pile three, I feel like you guys had ice cream for last week. Oh no, that was pile two. But like, again, I'm drawn to like the hundreds and thousands, the way this kind of breaks off. It reminds me of also an egg, kind of like a really cool Easter egg for kids, and that kind of pastel color as well. There's a real playfulness. Everyone's in the kind of spring vibes with it. And it also reminds me of a duck, weirdly enough. A duck without any eyes, but a really cute little animated duck. So that's you, pile three. So please go ahead, pick your piles and have fun. Hello, pile one. Right, I needed a little bit of a stretch first. I feel like some of you are really stiff and you need to like move your joints a bit. Some of you are thinking of joining a dance class or getting involved in some kind of like dance carnival type thing. There's a real kind of, I want to shake my hips and my ass and everything else, and I feel like I just want to have a bit of a stretch, and I feel like, yeah, you guys definitely need to do that as well. Just move your body a little bit, enjoy the springtime. Yeah, go to, you know, I'm getting this image of like going to a park, like playfulness, like adults on a swing, that kind of stuff. You know, and this feeling of you don't care, you really don't care anymore. There's a real innocence and a kind of joy here. So I haven't seen these cards, so we're going to pick it out. So we got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, are we in frame, Saturday, and a kind of Sunday here. I feel like for some of you, before we even pull this out, you're trying to inject, like life has been a bit tough, and you're trying to inject a bit of playfulness, of humor, of joy, of everything else. And again, I'm hearing this kind of water off a duck's back kind of thing as well. Some of you are learning a new language, or you're on Duolingo or whatever else, or Preply or whatever, learning and just like kind of increasing your knowledge. I'm seeing like getting things set in motion, like steps, like it's da 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 da. Monday, yeah. Tuesday, how cute. I think you guys got the sun last time. Wednesday, Thursday, you've had strength already, I'm sure. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh, you're going to have a good week. You're going to have a really cute week. I feel like you're coming off the back of another really good week as well. So we've got, ooh, there we go. We've got the Prince of Cups here. There we go. So my light reflects. And this is really about honoring our emotions and riding over the kind of sea of our emotions, you know, without fully giving into them. You've got, I think it's a lotus flower, but you've got flowers here, so that tells me love, that's self-love. That's about, you know, giving and receiving of gifts as well. And you can see he's like staring at the snake here. I feel like, was it your pile last week that had a lot of snakes? I feel like it was. You know, and it's the snake of our internal thoughts, our transformation, our shadow self. It's all of that kind of stuff. And the prince here is not really giving into anything. They're sort of looking at everything from a distance. And again, looking at, I'm sure it was your week last week or your power last week where I was like, look at what you can control and what you can't as well. And this is about balancing everything here, but it's also, I'm drawn to this, you know, these kind of waves, which reminds me of like power. It's like, the only way I can describe it is, so if some of you played Pokemon, in the way that you would see waves or tails or whichever else around a really powerful Pokemon, because it would show kind of their power and their strength, if that makes sense. And this is you kind of gathering power, gathering energy, looking at what you can control, what you can't control, not diving fully into your emotions, but just being present with everything and looking at things from like a childlike, this is where it connects with this, a childlike innocence and a new beginning mindset, or new beginner's mindset, which is very much like the same way you've got the children, the cherubs. Kind of here, this is again a card that's a real yes. I'm drawn to this kind of wall, which is the idea of the grass is greener on the other side, or like actually you're on the greener side. You know, over the horizon is just more grass, but nothing beats where you are kind of now. You know, you're really putting in the groundwork. I'm seeing somebody dig soil. You're really kind of planting your seeds. You're really nurturing everything that you need. You know, and you're saying yes to life. You're saying yes to the joy of life without being fully consumed into everything. There's like a peace. Oh, there we go, peace. Tranquility. Sorry, I was looking up, so I didn't look down. I forgot what the cards were. But yeah, there's a peace, there's a tranquility, there's a, you know, a real joy in your week. You've got the Emperor, which, let me cover the nudity. Is he nude as well? Oh God, there we go. You know, the Emperor, which he's sat in the number 4 as well. You've got the number 4 there. Real Aries kind of season. I'm drawn to the Lamb, which is that springtime. He's got the same shield in a different way to the Empress. And I'm drawn to kind of his seat as well. The number 4 is really about authority. It is about taking charge and being within that moment, having what you can control, having what you can't. You see the way he is like adorned here. Adorned? Yeah, we'll go with that. That reminds me of like all your skills. He's very aware of his strengths, his weaknesses, everything else. There's a real regality of it, or a regalness. I think I made up the word regality, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna own that. You know, it's about owning owning your regalness. And again, that lamb is like an innocence as well. If you look at lambs within any religious context, or definitely any that I've come across, it's about a newness, a freshness, a spring, a child-like innocence to it, or a childlike view of this. And again, pulling it from that dinosaur. You know, by Thursday, you're fully in your strength. Your arrows are aligned in the right way. You've got all your eggs are in all of the baskets. You know how many eggs there are in every basket, all the rest of it. You've got the sun again as opposite the moon, so that there's a tranquility kind of here. And then Friday, you have things really set to kind of get into motion. You're checking in with both the heavens and the earth. This is a real kind of, I'm in my physical element as well. I've got my wisdom here. I've done this rodeo many times before. You're really just setting things into stone. This is what I'm feeling. Like, again, that yin and yang, the opposite sun and moon, just everything is sort of fitting perfectly into place, which is cute. And then Saturday, you know, you've got peace. Now, peace doesn't mean tranquility, and tranquility doesn't mean peace, if that makes sense. They're two separate things that can be conjoined together. But I feel like for you, because of the other cards that you've got and changing that context, I feel like there's a real peace and tranquility here for you. I'm really drawn to that blue, which is, again, the emotions, the calmness, that, you know, you're not in your emotions, you're not in your thoughts. This is very much of, I'm making peace with everything internally as well, and with everything around me. I'm looking at what I can control, what I can't control, and all of that. And then we have Sunday as well. And again, you've got the blue, which is all the emotions. he's not, even though the Chariot, I mean, you can see the Chariot with Morrigan here, even though the Chariot is a card about motion and forward motion, for me, I'm not seeing him moving yet. I'm seeing him getting everything into alignment to move as well. And very much like the Emperor, he's got the crystal, you know, or the engravings, that was the word I wanted, in his suit. He's sat similarly to the number 4, even though he's, you know, you can't see his other leg there, but it's very similar to the Emperor, to where you're at on Wednesday. And those engravings mean kind of, or represent his wisdom, his skill set, everything that he needs. You've got, again, the wheel. You can see more wheels kind of here. This is knotted and bound together, whereas this is more in motion. So things are starting to take speed and speed up. You know, the ideas and the things that you are wanting to put into fruition. You know, you're really grounding on Sunday. The crab, which isn't here, but it probably should be, you know, means about family, but it is that emotion element as well. You know, you're using your emotions to drive you forward as opposed to your logic for some of you. You're really giving what you need, looking at what is in your wheelhouse, what can I change, what can I control. It's a gorgeous energy, and you've got a really gorgeous kind of week. You're not plowing full speed ahead. You're taking real moments of reflection, real moments of peace and tranquility and fun and joy, and a little mix of it all. And it's just a really good week ahead for you, part 1. Let's pick you your angel card. So, angel card, your fairy card. Maybe some of you need to, I mean, there's daily card pulls. I can't remember right now off the top of my head what I've got. Maybe I'm in my angel card era. But yeah, if you pull, thank you. If you pull angel cards, maybe you should do that. Yeah, very wishing well. So manifestations, expectations, offering. I said about that the giving and receiving as well with this. And yeah, you're very much kind of in place to offer more things, but also accept more things. You know, your expectations are very loose in the control. I can control this, I can't control this. And your manifestations, you know, you're very much in alignment to manifest everything that you want. And I feel like I couldn't remember. I feel like it was the one for last week. Oh, sorry, I just dodged the camera. I feel like it was the one for last week where I was talking about, I think it was part 3. I can't remember. But I was talking about, you know, the idea of destiny and the idea of, you know, fate and all of that. And like fate and destiny is all of that to me, and the choices that you make are very much in the way of, so say, best example I can give, say you want to go to Rome, and regardless of where you are, and you have several different options of when and how and where you go, who you go with, all of those things. It doesn't really matter so much. I mean, yeah, if you took a plane, it's going to be, you know, quicker predominantly than driving, you know, but especially for me, because I'm in a whole different country, but I'm still going to get to Rome. And that's how I see fate and destiny. You're still going to get to your destination. Just how you get there is really your choice. What you bring with you, who do you go with, all of that is all your choice. And I still can't think of that freaking word. It's like a self something, you know, but that's it, you know. And sometimes you know, say you wanted to take the car to Rome, the car breaks down, you then have no other choice but to get a plane or get a lift or whichever else. Sometimes those things happen, and that's fine. You're meant to go on that specific journey that way, but either way, your destination is the same. And it's the same thing with your manifestations. You're going to manifest everything that you want, part 1. How you do it, when it manifests, all of that kind of stuff is really up to, you know, yourself and the universe. And that comes into your daily actions. You know, manifestation is a direct mirror of how you look after and treat yourself. It's your relationship with yourself. That's what it is. And that's why you're constantly being told, be in the energy of joy, be in the energy of this, la, 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 la. And actually it's just be in alignment with yourself and you'll manifest. That's all it is. That really is all it is. It's really that simple. and also that hard at the same time. So let's get your, ooh, I'm still using these new cards. So what the T aspect? I'm hearing like April showers, like that Bambi, that kind of like spring, the like do 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 do, like whatever that tune is, that kind of slow peace. There's like a gentleness and naturalness. What is it that you need? Pile 1. Did you guys get this before? Yeah, romantic love affair, sex fix, secret lover, passion over loyalty. You know, for some of you, it's new romance coming in, it's new love, it's a rekindling of love as well. But it's not just for others, but for yourself as well. And I feel like for some of you, you're the kind of person that would usually, or have in the past, kind of lost yourself in relationships. And you're not doing that this time. You've not lost your whole personality in a relationship, or, you know, become fully merged with that person. You know, you're keeping part of yourself and your identity. You're not establishing your self-worth completely on the other person. That's what I'm trying to say. And I want to go here. No facts or vibes. So for some of you, yeah, I've got love on the brain at the bottom. Lost in fantasy, can't stop thinking of them. Love that never left. For some of you, you're still kind of getting over a past relationship. You're kind of reliving past relationships within your current one as well. Or you're going over the idea of what you, if you're single, like what you want in love, how you want to be loved, and then going over on how that has kind of manifested with other relationships and how that hasn't. And I feel like for some of you as well, you're really holding on to the criticism of past lovers, and I want to tell you that they don't mean shit. That's literally how I heard it. It's like other people's view of you back whenever it was, let it go. Just leave it in the garbage. It doesn't mean shit. You know, there's no facts or vibes, no receipts, talking nonsense, messy storyteller. You know, you are not what other people say you are. You know yourself. You know, just let that kind of go. Some of you needed to hear that. And we're going to go happy-ish. This. Life is not a self-improvement exercise. You got 2. Okay. There we go. Oh, okay. Well, life is not a self-improvement exercise. You do not exist to race on a treadmill to nowhere in search of optimization and advancement. You do not have to see your setbacks as a setup for a comeback or alchemize your struggle into something shiny. Not everything is a life lesson meant to turn you into your best self. Some things just suck. Some of you really need to hear that. No facts or vibes, no receipts. Some things just suck. And you know what? Who cares? Healing takes time. This is either reassuring or annoying, depending on the kind of day you're having. You can't rush your wounds into becoming scars, which some of you are doing. Think about where you've been, your deepest hurt, and where you are now. Can you believe that you're right on time? Or could you believe that you're right on time? And I'm hearing that like right on time song, which I'm not going to sing. Healing takes time. You're fine. Take things in slow movements. Don't rush. Don't be speeding ahead. You've got a lot of chariots. You know, don't take a minute. Breathe. Take a sec. And cultivate the joy in your life that you actually want to see. And that is it for you, pile 1. Have a gorgeous week. Do whatever it is that makes you happy. Live your best joyful life. Play. Please like and subscribe because it helps share these weekly readings onto other people. And yeah, just have a gorgeous week. Thank you so much. Bye. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. This is for the upcoming week. Dates of which I have absolutely forgotten, but it's fine. It's a timeless reading. Take what resonates, leave what does not. I feel like some of you missed the intro and just went on to pick your pile. So I needed to say that. Entertainment purposes only, all of that kind of stuff. Pile 2, we've got like a cuteness. This reminds me of like manga, anime. There's an artisticness, there's a playfulness. There's also kind of a redirection of sadness for some of you. I know that seems wild to say, but some of you are really looking. I'm hearing part of my childhood died. Like there's an incident or incidents. Maybe pile 2, maybe you had like pile 3 last week, and maybe you've picked a different pile for this one. But I'm feeling very much like I'm trying to recreate my childhood right now as an adult. You know, you're parenting yourself. That was what I wanted to say. You're parenting yourself for some of you. Yeah, and I'm getting like Powerpuff Girls, which is one of my absolute favorites. I'm seeing like Johnny Bravo. I'm seeing there's a real playfulness, Sailor Moon. And I think from all of that, there's the energy of the Fool as well, or the Fool card, because it's like a new beginnings. It's a playfulness. There's a beginner's mindset. There we go. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm like just seeing loads of like Nickelodeon things, like not Ren and Stimpy. I know that's definitely one of my favorites. I'm getting like SpongeBob. I'm getting Cow and Chicken. That was it. Cow and Chicken. Fairy Odd Parents. And that kind of stuff. I mean, Powerpuff Girls was my ultimate. There's Dexter's Laboratory. Oh, sorry, I keep hitting the camera. And I kind of want to shuffle in my seat a bit. I want to sit further into those programs. I want to kind of immerse myself, and there's a kind of escapism as well. There's like an artistry and an escapism with this whole thing. You know, you, pile 2, are the kind of person that wants to create a really rich and gorgeous life, and it's not to say that others don't, but you really have that kind of visualness where you're like, no, this is the, and put this more into shot, like this is the life that I want. Like you're creating your vision boards, you're having a look at stuff, and you're really creating the vibe, or trying to create more of the vibe, because I feel like you've been through a lot. Yeah, I definitely feel like you've been through a lot. So we've got Monday, which is good success. I'm trying to fit everything in frame here. I might just move these back a little. There we go. Monday, all about success. All about living in our success. Tuesday, I said the Fool. I said the Fool. Yes. Wednesday. Okay. Thursday. Okay. Friday. Saturday. Ooh. Sunday. Okay, gorgeous week. Exactly what I said. Look how like vibrant and bright all the colours are. So Monday, I'm so excited the Fool came up. I love when that happens. Monday, success. You know, everything is in alignment. You're overthinking. That's what these spikes are. They're in direct sort of, directness. There's a pinpoint. It's like kind of like shooting an arrow and hitting bullseye. This is what this feeling is. It's like all the planets have aligned for you on Monday. Everything feels really rich, and you know, like you can manifest everything in the world. That's what Monday feels like. Tuesday, I said the Fool. You know, I'm really drawn to this kind of butterfly, to, you know, the birds. There's a crystallization. There's like real alchemy happening at the top, and he's like laser focused, you know, and you can see where his heart chakra is kind of fully open here. You know, there's the real kind of joy. It's a very different card to like your stereotypical kind of Fool. You've got money here. You've got grapes, which reminds me of like enjoyment. I'm seeing like Dionysus in the way of like wine and festivities and celebration. You've got the tiger here, which represents fear. And even though the tiger is biting into the Fool's leg, you know, the Fool doesn't really take notice. They're like, okay, come along, fear. You're coming with me. It's like the face the fear and do it anyway. And that is kind of the Thoth version of the classic like Rider Waite tarot, any other tarot. You see the Fool like stepping off a cliff, you know, and this is that kind of aspect of that. And then you have the crocodile of creativity, because that's what it means. And then you've got, see these children here, the kind of yin and yang kids, that's like the childlike innocence of that aspect, and how, you know, the lotus and the sun, everything feeds in with each other. There's a huge amount of visualization with that. But yeah, the butterfly is what's really shouting to me, which is like this kind of real playfulness as well. You know, I want to put that over his heart. His heart's open, he's ready for new experiences, he's ready to, like, you know, embrace all that is. And again, I keep saying this, it's like, see what is in your control and what is not within your control. And then you have adjustment, which is, we've got success, we've got joy over here, but there is also remembering that we need to balance ourselves, you know, yin and yang. I want to say good and evil, but it's not quite as black and white as that. But you know, it's the opposites. You know, I mean, everything is grey and everything in moderation and all the rest of it. But yeah, there's you need a balance. You know, you need to be able to have your mind, body, and spirit in that alignment as well. And Wednesday is very much your day of, okay, let's recalibrate. Yeah, let's resync up. Let's take a minute for calmness, and we've got all this excitement, this joy, this like playfulness, this everything else, but let's honor and own our sadness. And I want to say to you, because there's a lot of like noise when it comes to manifestation and, you know, all the rest of it, where we're told that we shouldn't live in our sadness, in our grief, in, you know, whatever that is. Like, it's absolutely fine for you to do that. No one gets to tell you, and it's unrealistic, this like over positivity, which just becomes toxic, or toxic positivity. I could have said that a different way, you know, and you're not that person. You know, you're very much like me. We don't live in that. If we're feeling sad, we're feeling sad. That is the emotion. We don't necessarily have to do anything about it or fix it or, you know, all of this kind of BS. You're allowed to feel everything. And you'll still manifest. You know? There's a lot of toxic positivity people or positive teachers or whatever who are very, not false, that's not the kind of word that I want, but disconnected. We're going to go with that. You know? And they feel like, for some of you, you almost feel guilty and punish yourself for feeling these quote unquote negative emotions. And I want to say to you, feel it all. Feel everything. You know, the more you avoid something, the more it shows up. Feel all of it. And it's okay for you to feel all of it. And I feel like Thursday, you're very much in your feels, in your sorrow. And you need all of that, because I feel like, again, I said this, you've been through so much, and it's wonderful to have these successes, and no one really teaches you how to deal with success. They always talk about, you know, how you deal with failure and all the rest of it, but no one really tells you how to deal with success, and it's very much an intimate thing. But I want to say to you, feel it all. What is it you need? Check in with yourself. Do you need more food? Maybe you just want to sit down and eat a truckload of carbs, and all of that is okay. You know, all of that is okay. Keep yourself safe, keep others safe, but what is it that you need? And feel all your sorrow. Maybe you have, I think for some of you, you have all of this success that's like finally manifested, and some of the people that you thought would be there with you to celebrate aren't there anymore. So for example, I'm a writer. Eventually, you know, the books I'm writing, one of them is going to get published. And I envisioned I'm going to cry. Excuse me. Okay. I envisioned my dad being there. And, sorry. Okay. I envisioned my dad being there, you know, at my first publishing launch and whatever it is. And he's dead. He passed away a while ago. And so for me, that's where that sorrow would be. I'm holding that joy, that celebration, that, you know, publishing, that's the successes that I have, all of that. But there's also a sorrow there, because there is a part of me, there's quite a large part of me that wishes my dad was still alive to be there. And yes, I fully believe he's in spirit and he's watching over me and he's immensely proud. That doesn't fix or take away the sorrow of it. And sometimes the reality doesn't match with our expectations, and that is okay. We're still manifesting everything that we want. We're allowed to feel all of those feelings. And that's the kind of best way I can describe this kind of vibe for you, pile 2, for this week. You know, because again, we're going back to victory here, which is Friday. You know, you've had your day to feel all your feelings, and we're in our victory era now. You know, and that the way that all these little flames ignite, which tells me, you know, we've had the big kind of explosion, the big success. And then there are lots of different areas within our life that really feels that success, that reignites, rekindles, resparks, all the rest of it. There's also a real big release with this reading in the way of being like, okay, I've achieved that goal. I've achieved that manifestation. I've achieved whatever it is, you know, and it kind of ripples out, but it's like you're putting down a weight as well. Saturday is really interesting because it's got interference, which tells me, predominantly, this tells me you're not supposed to know. Saturday, I feel like is a day, because I'm really drawn to number 4, I'm really drawn to the kind of the block of overthinking and the 2. So it tells me it's a day for you to take ownership and take authority and really take the day as if you were taking the bull by its horns kind of thing, and not allowing others to overly interfere. You are in full alignment with everything that you need to do. You're in full alignment with your success. You know, take people's advice or whatever they want to give. That's fine. It doesn't mean you have to follow it as well. So Saturday's really a day about, yeah, maybe some people who aren't, you know, happy about your success or happy about things or want to keep you small, you know, are kind of rearing their head a little bit. And you kind of, I'm seeing like a whack-a-mole. It's like they're rearing their head and talking shit and you're going, no. It's kind of thing. That's what I'm feeling for kind of Saturday. And then Sunday, again, this is very much like, is there nudity? No. Yeah, Sunday is nobody really understands the Queen of Cups. She's in this, you can see her face just there. She's in this kind of veil of emotion, this kind of protection. Blue reminds me of kind of protection as well as like a real guard around you as well. And there's a real tranquility and a peace. You've got lots of like really strong cards, like Major Arcana and stuff like that, or, you know, aces or queens or kings. Oh, there's no aces. I don't know why I thought success was an ace. Anyway, yeah, and not everyone can understand the Queen of Cups, and that doesn't matter if they do or they don't. She sees her own reflection. She understands herself. She is protected in her success, in her aura, in everything that she's worked hard to put herself first for. And that's where I feel like you are on Sunday. You know, that really comes out for Saturday. So let's see what's going on. What is the tea in your situation? I wanted to go here. Love on the brain. So lust and fantasy, can't stop thinking of them. Love that never left. Some of you, I feel like, yeah, so it's the opposite. I thought as much. Some of you, I feel like your success is the hold that another person has over you doesn't matter anymore. You know, the hold that an ex had over you, a hold that some of you have been through a divorce. You know, that kind of emotional manipulation, it has no effect on you anymore. And I feel like, yeah, a love that never left, you finally let it go and allowed it to leave. Yeah, romantic love affair. For some of you, this really is about, you know, looking at what is it that I really want in a romantic partner. How do I create that within my life? You know, because I'm really drawn to that passion over loyalty. You know, some of you have been done dirty, basically. And it's about, actually, you want loyalty over passion. If I flick that, will it turn? Yeah, it turns upside down. So, Yeah, it really is about looking and saying to the universe, I've come out of this now, I've closed the door. I want that love, that marriage, that this, that, and the other. I want that forever person, and you'll manifest that. You know, you'll be fine. But yeah, it feels like these are opposites. So like love is not on the brain anymore. You don't want loyalty over passion. You don't want to be, for some of you, you were a secret, and you don't want to be a secret. You don't want to. You don't want to be asked. You don't want to be treated that way. You don't want any of that. And this doesn't have to be lovers. It could also be friends. It could be family. It could be, you know, whatever else. Yeah, life is not a self-improvement exercise. You do not exist to race on a treadmill, to nowhere in search of optimization and advancement. You do not have to see your setbacks as a set up for a comeback or alchemize your struggle into something shiny. Not everything is a life lesson meant to turn you into your best self. Some things just suck. Which is true. Some things just suck. Yeah, here we go. Maybe for some of you, your divorce, if you're waiting for it to be finalised, is finalised on Thursday. And there's a real grief and bereavement in a separation or a divorce or anything else. Or you've moved out of a partner's place, or you've separated in that way. You know, why did I put that card back? There we go. You know, it's not, so some of you, it's almost like this pressure to have that glow up. And you don't need it. You know, you're fine and you're perfect and you exist and you're wonderful exactly as you are. And that is your week. Pile 2. It is a really gorgeous week. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, because as a new YouTuber, it helps kind of get things out there. Please comment, let me know what resonates, what doesn't. As well, and I hope you like the new kind of ish card setup, the 7 card pull and everything else. And yeah, have a gorgeous week. Thank you. Bye. Hello, pile 3. This is your week ahead. This is the timeless reading. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. All of that stuff. Let's get cracking. So you picked the little like ice cream cone with the different flavors. This is, you know, you're somebody who loves a little bit of variety as well, but it's also a bit of a classic because we've got the classic cone kind of here. I'm really drawn to the sprinkles, to the hundreds and thousands. It's not over excessive. It's, you know, just right. And I'm hearing like Goldilocks of, I tried all these different things and I'm just trying to find the thing that's just right for me. Some of you, I'm getting like real separation vibes. It doesn't have to be romantic, but there is a, yeah, there's a cutting away, there's a moving away, there's a getting rid of, and it's not just people, but like old behavior patterns as well. Yeah. So I'm seeing the like, I can't remember what card it is, but it's where they like cut away things. He has like the sword and he's cutting down on people, and yeah, it's really cool. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, are we in view? Yes, we are. Wednesday, I feel like I want to do that. Like Monday and Tuesday really blend into each other. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, we've got enough room. So Monday, Tuesday, Monday. Oops, that is a. I need. Yeah, that's a very. It's the devil card, and we need to maybe cover some things up. There we go. I'm sure you can guess what this is if I put that up. There we go. You can guess that. Yeah, I feel like Monday, Tuesday really kind of overlap with each other. I'm going to come to them in a minute. Wednesday, okay. Thursday, you've got a really interesting week. Friday, Saturday, Prince of Swords, what was I saying? Cutting people off. Sunday, the one with the sword. Yeah. God, I love when that happens. It seems to be happening a fair bit now. That's exciting. So yeah, Monday we have failure, and Tuesday we have the devil card, and I just want to cover them up. So Monday is failure here as well. I'm seeing like different characters, like owls here, like the eyes, like the coins represent eyes, and there's like a feeling of like really being watched and like real criticism, and people running their mouths. I don't know how else to say that. People just talking more than what they need to, or inputting more than what they need to. Like, a lot of people have a lot to say, and it doesn't matter if you'd have done the thing that they're saying that you should have done. They're still going to run their mouth. They're still going to have a lot of things to say. And it's just like shitty people. Yeah. And I'm also getting this idea and this feeling of like people who could have helped you decided not to, but now they have a lot to say. This really feels like you are really seeing the true colours of people, the true where people stand. And some people have really disappointed you. And this feels very external. So you in yourself, you're not a failure, pile 3. I'm going to tell you that now. You're allowed to make mistakes. Was it your pal last week that had something along the lines of, you're allowed to make mistakes, you're allowed to mess up, you're allowed to, we all do it, whichever else. And I feel like you've not really done that much of a bad, I was going to say bad or big thing, but it's like blown up to this huge thing. Yeah, you're definitely a bit of a rescuer, pile 3. And then we've got the Devil card again. I'm sure you can make out what these are. And the Devil card really is about a card that says, two things. One, okay, I'm gonna, seeing as I can't win, I can never be enough for you people, I'm gonna be everything that you're saying that I am. It's a card that says, I no longer care what anyone else is saying. I'll be the bad guy. Not a problem. I'll do all of this stuff because I clearly cannot win. And there's like a real frustration, but there's also an anger as well. And the Devil card is also a lot about people making you out to be a monster, people making you out to be worse than what you actually are. I'm not making a comment on the devil itself. I'm saying what the card means, or the devil themselves, whatever. Everyone has their own opinions, but I'm saying what the card means. And the Devil card is really, in this deck, is about turning things into humor, like using humor against other people, it's like observational humor against other people. If somebody makes a statement about what you're wearing and you'll turn around and be like, well, I'm not going to get advice or take criticism from you who's in like ripped jeans, a turtleneck and some Crocs. It's that kind of stuff. I have nothing against ripped jeans, turtlenecks or Crocs, by the way. That's you do whatever you do. But it's like that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm being told that pile 3, you would look good in a paper bag. Like, it doesn't matter, it's your attitude. Yeah, there's a rebelliousness to you here. And that's like Monday, Tuesday. You're just dealing with people running their mouth, really. And then you've got Wednesday, which is the Ace of Discs, which is about completion. Whatever this is, will complete by Wednesday. Everything will just be in alignment. You'll be a lot wiser for it. Everything will be fine. Everything will work out exactly as you said it would. So, I feel like for some of you, this is work. For some of you, this is like a lot of people being like, well, I would have done that this way and I would have done it that way. And actually, when it comes to Wednesday, you're like, see, I told you it would work out like this. So, yeah, this is, and I think like part of it, because I'm drawn back to the ice cream, is very much you've tried so many different ways. You're using your experience at this point. You've, tried all the flavors. You've mixed all the alchemy coming into Thursday. This is what that kind of ice cream reminds me of, that kind of alchemy. You are mixing everything together and creating art. I'm really drawn to, so that there's honeybees on the garment here, which is like taking pollen. It's that alchemy. It's taking pollen and making honey. Taking something that is glorious and nutritious and sweet and beautiful. And there's a real spiritual alchemy here of you like fully believing in yourself and being like, no, I am that person. I am that bee. I never know if I can swear on YouTube. I am, glorious. And you are. You are absolutely glorious. You are every flavour of the ice cream, beautifully combined, and you're still classic. And then you have Thursday, which is swiftness, which is like, you've got the rainbow and everything is in your favour, But Thursday very much feels like you have, you know, you're spinning a lot of plates and you've got a lot of conversations to have on Thursday, particularly with people not having your back as well. You know, people that you're speaking your truth on Thursday. Friday. It's because I was seeing that as one. Friday, you know, you're speaking your truth. You're saying your facts. Some of you have never really spoken up before, and I feel like this is your real chance because you kind of had enough because it's opposite the devil. You know, you're saying what you need. You're voicing your opinions, and you're not about to be manipulated or put down. It's that kind of feeling. And then you have Saturday, which is worry. And this is where that kind of, the worry and the protection kind of really steps in, where you're a bit like, okay, did I say too much? Did I do too much? Maybe I should have taken other people's advice. And you know within yourself that everything will be fine. You know, and some people will disappoint you. I feel like I really want to sneeze. I really want to get something kind of like out of my body, out of my energy, out of everything. I want to get rid of something. And that's what this feels like. I feel like some of you are you're taking on bigger corporations or bigger kind of aspects, because I'm hearing like chanting in the way of campaigning. That was what I wanted to say. Campaigning or like activism or whichever else. Some of you are really kind of speaking up. You're putting that, you know, factual review on Trustpilot. You're doing all the things. You're reporting people to trading standards. You're doing all of that kind of stuff. And then it gets to Saturday and you're a bit like, okay, I've not really heard anything. Is this going to be dealt with? Am I wasting my time? It's all of that kind of stuff. And you really don't have anything to worry about. And sometimes things just take time when you raise a concern or when you fight back. Things just take a little bit of time, and just to go back to, you know, you're glorious, that alchemy kind of thing, just to kind of step back into your own power and enjoy the ice cream. It's enjoy that moment for yourself, if that makes sense. And then your Prince of Swords, which is why we're seeing earlier, you've got the Sword of Clarity kind of here. And you're cutting people off, you're letting people go by Sunday, but you're also like letting go of those thoughts and behavior patterns. You're coming off the back of worry and just being like, okay, everything will work out as it should work out, and I will deal with it. And knowing that you will deal with whatever is thrown at you. You don't have to catastrophize. That's what I was trying to say. You don't have to catastrophize everything in every situation. Just deal with it head on. Alchemize. You have everything in your disposal to take on whatever it is you're taking on. I feel like this is a mix for a lot of people. For a few of you, it's work. Because I feel like you've been through enough personally. And for some of you, it's kind of work bleeding in to other aspects, the family and whichever else. And you're trying to like separate it all. Some of you, it's romantic, but not so much. I feel like a lot of you have let your romantic baggage go. I was like, what's a nice way of saying baggage, sugar, honey, iced tea? Or romantic sugar, honey, iced tea. Some of you, it's like you've gone on a date as well and you're really not feeling it. So you're just kind of, you're letting things go a little bit. And also your expectations. Let's get your tea for pile 3. Haunted, memories, flashbacks, trauma, side effects. This is coming into this kind of, because I want to put it here, you know, this is very much of, so what I was saying earlier about people saying, oh, you've always been like this, you've always been a troublemaker, you've always whatever that BS is, you know, it's almost like a family narrative of when you were 4 years old, you did this, and now you're 40 or 44, whatever, and you're still doing this, and you know what, it's a little bit, I want to turn around and be like, F you, kind of thing. You know, this feels very much like I'm coming out of that narrative, that control, that, yeah. There's very much a feeling of I've just had enough. You know, I'm going to cut people off and eat my ice cream. So, that made somebody laugh. There we go. Yeah, in their head. Making assumptions, creating stories, trust issues showing. And I want to pull this out. Creeping. Somebody's creeping. So somebody's been creeping, watching. Again, this is like the family issue or something else. Yeah. I'm seeing like, I was just like having a little nosy, and it's like photo proof, caught in the act, evidence saved, truth in plain sight. And it's that truth. Actually, I will put it out. Truth in plain sight. What are you? There's a lot. Looking you up. Sorry, I was talking. Okay. Yeah, I will. I'm getting shouted at. Yeah. So there's this creeping, there's looking you up. There's people like watching. They have too much to say. They have a lot to say. People always say more on social media and stuff like that as well. I'm getting like Facebook wars as well. Whereas like you have the receipts. You see the truth. You know, they're creating stories and assumptions and stuff that's absolute BS. And you know what? It says more about them than it does about you, pile 3. So I didn't even pull your fairy thing. We just got into the tea. Yeah. My favourite thing about the cyber stalking is, oh my god, does it actually have somebody's name? Oh, it's in a different language, so I can't tell. But yeah. Somebody is really trying to like stir the pot. Okay, we want to come out. Into the woods. Yeah, great card. So you're into the woods, a stranger in a strange land, new experiences, feeling uncertain, transition zone. So yeah, this ties in with everything in the way of being like, you're in a new transition. You've never fought back before. You've never really spoken up before. You never really had conversations with people who've been like, you're a shitty friend, or you're very unsupportive, or I keep having to tell you this same thing, or why didn't you have my back? It's all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. Or I caught you in the act, or, all that kind of stuff. And somebody, in family could be like, you've always been like that when you were 4. And then you could be like, well, you've always been like this. Like, it's fine to speak up. It's not really a 1-2 kind of thing, like a boxing ring. It's a you holding your own, standing your ground, and it's that kind of stuff. And you feel like you've never really done that. You've probably spoken up maybe a tiny bit, or said, you don't like something. But this is a different vibe. This is a taking ownership of yourself and your needs, and creating that alchemy. What do you need? Here we go. No, really, life moves fast, and most of us never have a chance to stop and think about what we really need from our relationships and our life, let alone express that to the people in our lives. Let alone express that to the people in our lives. What was I saying? Take a minute today to think about what it is you need from the people around you. Do they know this? Can you share it with them? Ooh. Just. There we go. That's everything. I feel like I don't need to say anything else, or anything more, which is absolutely fine. But yeah, have a gorgeous week. Hold your own. Stay in your truth. You are the shit, essentially. Not you are shit, but you are the shit. You are glorious. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on YouTube. It's fine. Please like and subscribe. Please share this with people that you think this might resonate. This might help as a new YouTuber content creator. This helps my work kind of get out there, and helps people who need the messages get them, which is super cute. But yeah, thank you so much, pile 3. Have a gorgeous week.